All right, so let's do this video. I'm gonna call this Harbor Freight Treasures. Let me start off with, excuse me. Let me start off where I stand with Harbor Freight. I do not think that their tools, in fact, I know that their tools are nowhere near the quality of Snap-on or pick a tool truck name. I've been a professional automotive technician for over 20 years now, and I have used every brand of tool throughout my career. And I can tell you, hands down, nothing beats Snap-on tools. I'm not going to argue with anybody on that. You can believe what you want to believe. I don't care what you say. This is just as good, blah, blah, blah. It's nonsense. And I'm not here to sell you Snap-on tools. You don't want to buy Snap-on tools, don't buy Snap-on tools. It's your money. Do what you want with your money. And I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. I can tell you for me, over the last 20 years, Snap-on has never let me down. And that a lot of the argument I hear, well, it's the same warranty and blah, blah, blah. You're not buying a warranty, guys. Get that out of your mind. It's not about the warranty. Anybody can warranty their tool for a lifetime. It's about getting a tool that lasts and holds up to a professional level. So, that's not to say that I don't shop at Harbor Freight. Sometimes. There's just some things that you don't have to buy the best of. It's nice to when you can. And I would say if any opportunity you have that you can get a deal on the best quality, you should take that over buying new Harbor Freight. I see a lot of comments in my videos about some of the tools I find at the flea markets and how they took that tool, that Snap-on tool, and they cleaned it up and they put it on eBay and they sold it for 3 times as much money as they paid for it, and then they went to Harbor Freight and bought themselves a brand new whatever. Well, good for you, man. I hope you spent that extra $20 or $30 you made well. Who cares about that piece of crap Harbor Freight, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just, the stuff it's not as good as your name brand stuff, and that's why it's cheap. So, I'm going to stop ranting about it. I did go to Harbor Freight today. There was a couple things I wanted to pick up that I had coupons for, and a lot of the stuff I buy at Harbor Freight is to give it a try, and if it doesn't work out, I'll go buy the better quality stuff. But I don't need a lot of tools, so I don't buy a bunch of new tools. I always buy antique tools when I see them. Usually you can't beat the price, and I would rather buy an antique something over a brand new Harbor Freight anything any day of the week. But it's not always the case. So I'm going to talk about some of the Harbor Freight treasures I bought today, and you can't really beat the prices. I'm not going to disagree. Their prices are amazing. So I bought 2 of these. These are log splitters. I want to try doing some green woodworking and stuff like that. And I have yet to find these used anywhere. And if I have found them used, old school steel stuff, it's usually overpriced. For some reason, the people in Ohio think that these are worth a lot of money. I don't know why. They're just a chunk of steel. I'm hoping that these Harbor Freight ones are good enough. I mean, I don't know how good you got to be for something like this. It's just a splitting wedge. So, I don't know. We'll try them. If they fail, they fail. I'll wear my safety glasses. We'll find out. This breaker bar I picked up for another project. I'm going to use the handle for something. I could care less about the head. But it was $9 and I need a handle. So that's why I bought that. This is a 36-inch Jimmy bar, or some people call them pinch bars. I actually have one of these at work, and I just recently got it, like last year, and it's an OTC, and I really like it. I've used the crap out of it. Most of the pry bars I use have handles on them, and I find myself going for this pry bar more than any other pry bar. Again, it's just a hexagon piece of steel. I don't know how bad Harbor Freight could have messed this up, but you know, it was $11, and for $11, I'm willing to give it a shot. I'll keep in mind what it is if I ever go to put any real pressure on it. This is what I went for. This was on sale for $39, and then they had a coupon in the mail for $29, and it's a 120 LED rechargeable underhood work light. I need one of these at work. I need the underhood light bad. I can't see under the hoods of the vehicles I'm working on, and I'm hoping that this thing is semi-decent. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be bright and all that. I'm curious of how well it's going to work out. The price of this is light years away from the price of good ones. So I'm hoping I'll get my I'm hoping this will be a good working light for the price it was. If it lasts a year, I'd be happy. Maybe 6 months, I'll be happy. But I'm hoping for a year. I'd gladly spend $30 a year on a new light. That wouldn't bother me at all. A couple moving blankets. I had coupons for the 40 by 72 for $2.99 and the 72 by 80 for $4.99. These are excellent Harbor Freight things. Stuff like this is great things to buy from Harbor Freight. These moving blankets. You can't beat the price on them, and I use them for all kinds of stuff. So when I have coupons or deals on them, I pick them up and keep them for when I might need them later. Let's see here, these nitro gloves. I have found these gloves not to be any better or worse than anybody else's brand of gloves, so I pick these up when I go to Harbor Freight. They work just as good as anybody else's gloves. So I think they're like $8 a box. AutoZone's like $12 or $15 a box right now. So I try to pick up the Harbor Freight ones when I can. This was something new that I had decided to try. It's a 2-pound brass hammer, and this was the most expensive thing besides that light that I bought today. It was $25, and I had a 20% off coupon, so it came down to like $19. But I figured, how could you mess up a brass hammer, really? I mean, it's a chunk of brass and a hickory handle. And my guess is the hickory came from the USA. The grain orientation in the handle is perfect. So I mean, I can't imagine the handle's probably going to hold up just fine. It's a chunk of brass. I mean, is there different qualities of brass out there? I don't know. I mean, you're not using this for a high impact tool. Usually light hammering on something you don't want to mar or dent. So I'm pretty confident that this brass hammer is probably good enough quality for what I'm going to do with it. There's no reason to go buy a Snap-on one of these for, whatever it is, probably $100. This is a case where you could save a little bit of money, and probably get by. So while I was there, I finally picked up one of these. It's a 3-pound dead blow hammer. Basically what these things are is it's a non-marring plastic housing, and inside the housing there's a metal housing that encases steel shot. You can, I don't know if you can hear that. So whenever you hit something, the inertia from the shot multiplies the blow. This will probably be okay. I mean, you could buy a nice snap-on one, but again, it's $50, $100 or somewhere around there. This one was under $10. I can't remember what it was, but I haven't had one, and I always just used a rubber mallet that I broke the handle on several times because it's it's a hard rubber, and I'm using it for I'm probably putting too much force on it. So I figured I'd try it for the price. If it fails and I lose out, then I lose out. I know I can't use that. This is probably the greatest thing that Harbor Freight sells. These are foot switches. So basically, you plug this into the wall, and then you plug your tool into the switch, and then you can push this foot switch and turn on your tool. My goal is to someday have every single power tool in my shop connected to one of these switches. Not one of them has failed me yet. I have several of them, and I absolutely love them. I think they're the greatest thing ever. So nice when you got something in your hands, you need to go out and turn on your drill press or your bandsaw or your grinder or whatever, and my grinder or any of that stuff. You walk up to it, push your foot down on the switch, the thing turns on, you want to shut it off, you don't have to touch anything. Another nice thing is a lot of times some of the older tools I buy, the switches are burned out or the switches are missing or they got a light switch on them or whatever. You can eliminate all that stuff, run a brand new cord to the motor with just a plug on it and then plug it into this, and then boom, you got a new switch. And these things are just awesome. I think they're like $13. I will say that for Harbor Freight. These things rock. I got some 100-piece box of single edge utility blades, razor blades. You can never have enough razor blades in your shop. And I mean, it doesn't matter what brand the razor blade is. I use it once and it goes right in the trash. When I reach for a razor blade, I need an absolutely sharp cutting implement. So buying the cheap blades is probably okay. We'll try them. I mean, if they don't work out, they don't work out. But they were cheap. I don't remember what the price was. $4 or something. I decided to give these a shot. These are the Pittsburgh 9-piece hollow punch set. I want to use them for my leather stuff. Hopefully they work out. I don't know. We'll see. They say carbon steel construction, so we'll see if we can use them and then sharpen them. And I don't know. They were cheap though. I don't remember what they were, but they were cheap. And then lastly, this was free. You always have those free coupons for these trays or multimeter or tape measure or whatever, and I can't get enough of these magnetic trays around my shop, so I went ahead and took advantage of the free coupon today and grabbed that one. But that's pretty much it. I think Harbor Freight's a great place for miscellaneous stuff, like a lot of your shop supplies, like your acid brushes, your cheap paint brushes. I've never tried any of the tapes, but I hear good things from like the electrical tape and the masking tape. Maybe someday I'll try that stuff. Zip ties, razor blades, those switches, just all kinds of miscellaneous stuff. I don't know that I would trust my career on their sockets and stuff like that. Maybe stuff that you don't use a lot you could get by on, but I'm not saying that every tool in your toolbox needs to be snap-on. I don't believe that to be true. I'm not saying that you need a snap-on toolbox. As a matter of fact, you don't need a snap-on toolbox. A snap-on toolbox will last you your entire life, I guarantee it. But you don't need a snap-on toolbox to do your job. Those Harbor Freight toolboxes are really good bargains, and they seem very tough. I know several guys have the roll carts, those U.S. General roll carts, and they hold up very well in a professional environment. There's no reason why one of their toolboxes wouldn't hold up that well. Someday you may see a Harbor Freight toolbox in my shop. If I ever need another toolbox, I definitely will give Harbor Freight a look before I go buy another Snap-on. That was one of the biggest money losses I've ever had. Paid somewhere around $10,000 for my toolbox when I bought it new. You know, probably 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. It's not worth anywhere near that. I'd be lucky to sell it for $1,500 right now. But that's just the way it goes. But it's bought and paid for, and I'll just, that'll be mine for the rest of my life. I guarantee you that. But I do believe that you need to pay attention on what you spend your money on as far as hand tools. Buy the good stuff, man. If you're torquing head bolts on something, get a Snap-on torque wrench. Don't chimp out and buy a Harbor Freight torque wrench, because there's no guarantee on, you know, how accurate it is. It's not certified. If you want to strip out your screws and stuff, then buy a set of Harbor Freight screwdrivers. You want your screws to come out, then buy Snap-on. You don't want your wrenches to slip, buy Snap-on. That's not to say that there aren't other good wrenches out there, because there are. I have a set of Cobalt wrenches at work that I had to buy some standard tools, and over the years I haven't had standard tools. I haven't needed them. Everything I've worked on since I started has been metric, with the exception of a few things right at the beginning of my career. But you know, most of the tools in my toolbox are metric, and so I had to buy some standard tools, and I needed them quick. So I went and bought some Cobalt wrenches, and for the money, man, those things are great. Gear Wrench is another brand that's absolutely phenomenal if you use the closed end. If you use the open end, you're going to slip off. But the closed end ratcheting end is phenomenal. I use those every day on a daily basis. I could go on and on, guys, about what to buy and what not to buy, but I guess I just get a little ticked off sometimes when I hear people say that Harbor Freight quality is just as good as anybody else, and that's absolutely inaccurate. I'm not saying Harbor Freight doesn't have some deals, and I'm not saying that place is a waste of time, because it's certainly not. I go in there and I see a ton of things that I wouldn't mind giving a try someday, and I probably will over the years. But that's enough of me ranting. I'll update on anything that fails out of this purchase of Harbor Freight tools. But so far, I've been pretty lucky with everything I've bought over the years from Harbor Freight, which hasn't been much, but a lot of stupid stuff that you don't need to be the best quality anyway. But thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more videos. Make sure you like and subscribe. See ya.